Welcome, our GBLOC community. This is Go Deeper with GBLOC, and I have the pleasure of interviewing and introducing to you Sheela Krishna, our GBLOC Community and Program Director. She's a singer-songwriter who creates modern mantra music and sound healing, and she's a whole human leadership coach. Thank you, Sheila, for being here.
For interviewing me.
Okay, Sheila, let's get into these questions. Can we start with the first one? What is your why?
Yeah, so my why is to really, one, reduce human suffering, but also to see people living a life that they absolutely love and are lit up by, and also to create a planet that is environmentally healthy. So that really inspires my why.
Are there any particular experiences in your life that help shape your why?
100%. I think so. Growing up, I faced a lot of challenge in my childhood. I experienced almost a decade of bullying. So when I was growing up, I didn't really have a lot of consistent friendships. That was really difficult. I just always found my greatest sense of peace being out in nature. And I think I would say I would consider myself to be generally a pretty empathetic person. And I would say that as a result of that, um, I think because I know what it's like to not have connection, to feel really disconnected, it's almost like I just kind of don't want that for others. So I think I think very much my why has been influenced by my experiences.
And you are an empathetic person. I can feel that about you. As soon as I met you, I feel the empathetic vibe. So,
Oh,
one big idea that you'd like to imbue in the world and why?
I would say my one big idea is that we all matter and that we're all interconnected. And when I say we, I think I don't just think about us as humans. I think about animals. I think about nature. I see life in everything around us, and I believe that we're all interconnected. And I think that by getting people to start embodying this perspective, I feel like we'll start treating each other and this planet very differently. And I think it would significantly reduce the amount of like mental health struggles that people go through, but also keep our climate happy. And I think that's really important because, you know, with all these climate changes that we're starting to see as a result of how we're influencing the planet, we're seeing changes in food production, water quality, air quality. And these are the things that we need to survive and thrive as a species. So it's more than just do something good for the world kind of thing. It's actually, I think, by caring for our planet is really about our survival and us continuing to stay well and thrive. So many of us talk about nature being a place where we find rejuvenation and respite, but we are destroying that. And so I think I'm really wanting to get people to understand the interconnectedness of all things and relationships as well. So I think if we can start seeing how we're all interconnected, I think it would really encourage us to start thinking about kindness and being more empathetic and being more intentional in how we show up in relationship with others, ourselves, and the planet. So that would be my one big idea.
That is one big, great idea, and I want to move forward with you in that mission. And I think that is the future that we all need to work towards together.
Mm.
What are the ways in which you cultivate meaningful connections?
Oh, I love this question. I may have created it. But I think the ways that I cultivate that is by asking questions that are out of the ordinary. So I really stop myself from asking questions like, how are you? Um, I would rather ask, what's on your heart right now? How are you feeling? What's most important to you? What are you creatively bringing to the world? I think it elicits a different kind of response, rather than like, what do you do, which can be such a surface level question. I'm also known as I'm a romancer. So I love people. And so
Mhm.
I'm usually the one creating plans, creating little adventures that I can create with other people, creating dinners. So bringing people together, spending quality time with the people I care about, who inspire me, who bring out the best versions of myself. I think so. Those are primarily, I would say, the ways that I cultivate meaningful connection. Expression of vulnerability is, for at least for me, a really core way I experience a meaningful connection, where I get to see behind not just what's the mask, and also behind like
Mhm.
what's not just what's just like good and being okay, but when things are hard as well.
And how do you say the way you cultivate meaningful connections plays into your one big idea?
I think so much of our mental health is a product of the amount of loneliness that we see, at least in North America. I think our culturally, North America is generally more so an individualistic kind of focused society, compared to in other parts of the world would tend to be more collectivist, or the East, I would say,
Mhm.
even African cultures as well. I think so. In cultivating meaningful connection, I think we are uplifting. I think it's uplifting one another more. Meaningful connection uh, definitely plays a role in helping people feel they matter. I think most people have a desire to feel seen, heard, and know that they belong and are okay. And I think those things can only really happen when we are in relationship, when we have a meaningful relationship with someone.
What are the contributions you make to the world, and how does your big idea play into that?
I contribute to the world in many ways. My one contribution absolutely is creating meaningful connection. I am a
Mhm.
natural and very savvy connector. I'm usually making, for every new person I meet, I'll likely introduce them to two or three people in my network.
That is
Um,
true, actually, because I've been with you and you've introduced me to a few people already. So,
yeah, yes, so that's my one contribution, and
mhm.
the introductions I create usually result in a friendship or a business partnership of some kind, or a sale. So I would say that's one way I contribute. The other way I make a contribution is through my singing and through my sound healing. When I sing, people experience deep calm, a sense of rest, intuitive, creative insights. So that's another way I absolutely contribute. I think I just contribute by showing up for people and listening, and really being empathetic, and just validating their experience, whether positive or negative. I think I really do stand for holding space for people and helping them feel seen and heard, because I do know how important that is for our sense of belonging.
And that is you. That is you. That's how I know you. So that is, you are true to your mission and your why. And I love that. What are the communities you're part of and why?
So GBLOC, obviously. I'm part of GBLOC because I love the idea that I think it actually is very connected to my desire to help people see that they matter. And especially in our with that intros that impact program we're launching, where everyone is a mentor with the philosophy that we can all learn from each other. I think that plays really beautifully with that. I also love just the diversity of people in this group. It's like the countries, our gender, our professional fields, our personal interests. But what I love about GBLOC is it's giving me the opportunity to meet people in a whole number of fields I would have never really had exposure to. The other community I'm a part of would be I'm growing my connection to the South Asian community, especially when I say South Asian community, I would say with people in like 20s, 30s, kind of 40s. I don't know if that's my generation or whatever. I'm part of that community because I think being South Asian, I am an immigrant. I was my roots are South Asian. I came to Canada when I was 6, but grew up with immigrant parents, very Indian parents, and so even in the music I create is highly influenced by my Indian upbringing. So my roots are really important to me. And growing up, I didn't really connect with a lot of Indian peers, so I feel like I'm desiring to do that now, and I just have developed such an even deeper reverence for my culture and my roots. And so I think that's another reason why I'm part of that community. Another community I'm a part of would be the wellness community,
Mhm.
and the spirituality community. So I feel like I'm part of communities based on my own interests and who I am as a person. And
Anything missing, you would say, from the communities that you're currently part of?
I feel like there's just I have a desire for having communities where we can have deeper conversations. I think that's missing for me. So I'm getting to meet all sorts of people, but it's in a very quick sort of way. And it can be like, we're only really seeing one part of each other. Like maybe one on one, if I were to take the initiative, I could get to know someone deeper. But I'm really curious about when we create space to bring people together, how can we create a deeper, how can we create deeper relationships in a community setting versus it being on the onus of the individual to cultivate that with different people. So I think that's really missing. I'm missing like deeper conversations.
Are there any other kinds of communities you'd like to be a part of as well?
I actually think I'd like to be part of the investment community. Being an
Mhm.
entrepreneur myself, and knowing a lot of entrepreneurs, I'm really interested in understanding how a VC thinks. I'm really interested in helping amplify social enterprise and especially women-led social enterprises. So businesses that have some sort of a social mission, especially starting in the nonprofit sector. I think we've had a really distorted view of how we see like money. And so
Mhm.
I'm really interested in shaking some of that up because I would be really interested in kind of the investment community.
If you were to rate your network from a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate it?
An 8. Yeah.
Why would you say an 8?
I have a huge diversity of people in my network.
Mhm.
Many of them are highly impactful, thoughtful leaders, people I'm inspired by, people I respect.
You had mentioned that you wanted to be part of the investment community. Are there any types of contacts or connections you're currently looking for as well?
I'm looking for meeting music producers, DJs, um, other artists who are putting out records and albums. I would also really love to meet, like I said, like investors who are interested in socially responsible business.
So I know that you are the community and program director of GBLOC. So I feel like this question is for you.
Mm-hmm.
If you were running GBLOC, what would you do with the community and why?
I would create a mass speed networking event. And we're starting to do something like that, but I'd be love to
Mhm.
like have like 100 people or 200 people in a, let's say, a virtual room.
That would be exciting. That would be a lot of fun, actually.
Oh, I think it would be a
Hmm.
blast.
Hmm. Hmm. Is there anything else you'd like to share with the G-Block community?
I highly, highly, highly recommend that you connect with one another.
Thank you so much, Sheila, for your time. Much appreciated. Thank you for letting us go deeper with you.